Okay, notifications should be going out. And if you guys can just confirm with me that you guys can hear me, I'd appreciate that. Oh, look at that. Notification just went out. Cool, cool. All right. Perfect. Let me see if I can hear myself real quick. I think so. Let me see. There it goes. I need to move this just a little bit higher. There we are. And that way it gets all of me and not just the top or the bottom of my head. There we go. So I hear myself now. Welcome everyone to this Sunday night stream. How is everyone doing? Hopefully everyone has been having a great March so far. I definitely have. Very busy March, but I can't believe that March is slowly coming to an end. Yes, March is almost over. Now this is the beginning of March Madness. For anyone running any college basketball plays, let me know who you're betting on, if you're betting on anyone at all. I know that a lot of my DGen friends definitely are. And I probably will be on Prize Picks. I don't know. I don't watch college basketball enough, but we'll see. I mean, that's what I said about NBA, and then the degeneracy started. But it has been productive and fruitful. So here we are. Nice. So we got the stream going. But Apple legitimately has to do something new because this formula isn't working for them anymore, that is. I mean, Apple used to be the company that would innovate, and they used to be the company that would excite, and now every year it seems like we're just getting the same thing over and over again. I mean, with the introduction of AI, yeah, they have to just do something. I mean, this is kind of like the playbook, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that they can do to add to the iPhone that will make it any form of revolutionary. I mean, at least at this point, until AI gets a lot more advanced, the iPhone more or less is going to be kind of the same thing. Which is why this year Apple is going to have to redesign it if they want to lure customers in to upgrade. Just because, I mean, they really cannot be using the same design for the 6th year in a row. Because if you count it, the iPhones pretty much are the same thing as they were from the 12 Pros. And since then, they haven't really changed all too much, if any, right? So if you look back at like the iPhone 12 Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max, the 14 Pro Max, they all looked pretty similar. I mean, they all had the same design language. They all were rectangular in shape. They all had that same tricolor, or not tricolor, but the triple camera array. And since then, they really haven't done anything with it. The 14 Pro Max introduced the dynamic island, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. I love using that feature. It's pretty nice. Is it revolutionary? No. Right? Is it useful? Yeah. I assume. Then from the 14 Pro Max to the 15 Pro Max, really all they did was just introduce the titanium color. Of course, a beefier chipset, so on paper it's supposed to be a little faster. And then what else did they do? They added the action button on the 15 Pro Max. So that's about it, right? And then after that, they added the 16 Pro Max, which added the new side button, or the capture button. And, of course, they touted the Apple Intelligence, which was supposed to be the big thing for this release. Although Apple Intelligence was slowly delayed, and it was kind of a letdown initially just because they kept pushing it back, and it was one of those features that they touted when it first initially came out. So, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? What iPhone do you guys currently have right now? Because a lot of people are not happy with the trajectory that Apple is going with. I mean, like I said, they just keep releasing the same product, and it doesn't seem like anything new is being made. So, let me actually check up here on the chat, see who's on here with me right now. It seems like we have 12 people watching. What's up, everyone? We have Christine Gordo saying, hey, Juan. Hello, Christine. Hopefully you've been having a great start to the week. But here, let me show you guys, because it's interesting. I was looking at some rumors from before, and it looks interesting. So the new iPhone 17 Air, as they're supposed to call it, is going to really shake up the current lineup, right? So the iPhone 17 Pro is still going to be released, although the plus size model is allegedly going to be replaced with this brand new iPhone 17 Air, Whether that comes to fruition, we'll have to wait and see. But basically, here's just like a mock image. This isn't real, of course, but this is just a mock image. It does follow Apple's kind of design language just a little bit. So it's the new iPhone 17 Air. And like I said, this one is supposed to replace the iPhone Plus line. So it's kind of interesting. Now, look, these are allegedly leaked, but I don't think these are going to be the final images right there. So this is supposedly supposed to be a leaked image of the new iPhone 17 Air. As you guys can see, it kind of has like that visor design. So if this does come to fruition, it's not going to have the triple camera array as we know it now. It's actually going to change, and it's going to be a little bit different. So I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, like I said, I do understand why Apple is doing this. So this is yet another render. Render is not the real thing. Just remember that. Here's another render of what the iPhone 17 Air is supposed to look like. Interesting, right? And just to list some bullet points off of here, this is slated to be released in September of 2025. So, of course, as usual, new iPhones drop every September, every single year. I'm surprised that some people, even now in 2025, still haven't gotten with the program and know that there is a brand new iPhone out every single year. I understand if you don't follow tech, but you'd be amazed at how many people don't know what iPhone we're on. I mean, I sell phones pretty much every day and research phones every single day for YouTube and whatnot. And I'm amazed just at how some people just don't know. Some people be like, well, heck, what iPhone are we on now? Are we on the 18, on the 19? No, we're about to be on the 17, and we're currently on the iPhone 16. I do also see that we have Mr. Aaron Wolfert here. Hello, peeps. What's going on? Also, for all my Hispanic Americans and Mexican Americans specifically, and anyone watching from Mexico, Mexico does play, I think, Panama right now at 9:30 in the CONCACAF Cup. Is it the CONCACAF Cup? So that's why I made this a little bit earlier, than that way I can watch the game while I'm working out at the gym. I haven't gone today, and regardless, I still need to get me my creatine intake in, so I'm on creatine HC1. But anyway, going back to the iPhone 17 Air, so this one is supposed to replace the iPhone 16 Plus, okay? So it's supposed to be a 6.6-inch OLED display. Pretty nice. We do also see that we're going to have 120 hertz ProMotion technology, which is going to be brand new to the iPhone 17 Air. For those of you guys that don't know, ProMotion technology is really nice. The refresh rate goes up to 120 versus what it is right now at 60 FPS. And all that means is the fluidity on your screen. So at 120 FPS, that is going to look very solid. It's all just going to be very, very fluid versus what we have right now. It's about time that Apple is going to introduce that on what I would consider the non-pro models, right? Always on display. It's supposed to have a notch design, which is interesting because the entire iPhone 16 lineup has the dynamic island. So the fact that this is supposed to have a notch is kind of weird. We have Face ID. We only have a 5.5 millimeter thickness, which I believe will make it the thinnest iPhone that they have ever released. So that's a little interesting. There's the A19 chip, which is going to be a little bit faster. 8 gigabytes of RAM, Apple Intelligence, a single earpiece speaker, so that's kind of important to note. A 24 megapixel front-facing camera, not bad for those selfies. A first Apple 5G chip, that's going to be really nice. A single 48 megapixel rear camera. No millimeter wave 5G support, so it's not going to support the fastest, most current 5G network, so that's a little odd. And then no SIM card tray, and then a smaller battery. Now, here's allegedly another picture of how it's supposed to look like. Again, I really don't know what I think about these rumors. I mean, this is definitely going to shake up the iPhone world, and I don't know. But again, Apple, for better or for worse, they need to innovate. They need to reinvent the iPhone, because as of right now, it's just a lot of people just aren't happy with the trajectory that Apple and iPhones are going. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had an iPhone ever since the 4 came out, and ever since then, I've been upgrading every single year. So from the 4S all the way to now. So I've seen and held every single design of iPhone, coming from sometimes the lower end models like the C models to the, do you guys remember the iPhone 5C? That one was legendary. Now to the new iPhone 16e, which is the new budget model, and that one's also pretty nice. But more or less, I mean, what people are craving is they're craving something new from Apple, including myself. I mean, this is just ridiculous. For the 4th year in a row now, we've been given the same phone. Actually, 5th year in a row now, I want to say, right? So the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes. So it's the 5th year in a row where we essentially are getting the same exact design. And a lot of us, quite frankly, are just tired of it. Same looking iPhone. Nothing is changing. Now, what I do want to give a lot of praise to is the Samsung Galaxy line. So this is the S24. This is not the S25. I decided that I should skip the S25 because really all it is a spec upgrade pretty much, and a few software features that they made exclusive only if you have the S25, which Apple has done that before, but lots more innovation has come from the S25 line than the iPhone line. And a little bit of that has to do with Apple just asserting their dominance in the tech space. They know that they're the Mac daddies in town. They know that they can get away with doing close to nothing. And it's just about time that Apple does something big with iPhones. It's just the same thing. It's too repetitive. Nobody asked for, the capture button on the new iPhone 16 Pros, but they gave it to us anyway. And the Apple Intelligence thing also is slowly being rolled out. But what Apple's trying to be like the next ChatGPT, but their technology in the AI space is simply not there. I mean, it's just not there. If they want to compete with rivals like Grok on Twitter or ChatGPT, then they have a long way to go. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it'd be amazing to use just your iPhone for AI. I mean, I use AI almost every day. Sometimes I use Grok. I do also have the $20 subscription over on ChatGPT. So I wonder if Apple's ever going to catch up. And the thing is that I always say, and I stand by this, a lot of people don't know how to use AI. Oh, we have Mr. Corey over there from Winnipeg watching the live. Hello, Corey. It's been a minute since you've been on here. Nice to see you here, man. How have you been? But what was I saying? A lot of people don't know how to use AI. So a lot of people like to just go on AI and search some ridiculous thing that's super Googleable, right? So they'll go to AI and be like, hey, when was George Washington born? Like, that's not how you're supposed to use AI. Now, granted, AI is a very, very powerful tool, and a lot of people are afraid of it. Now, me as a millennial, I don't see where the fear really comes from. I guess it's just a fear of the unknown. I mean, at least from what I've experienced in person selling phones, is that a lot of people, they really are afraid of AI because of stealing their info, or they're just afraid of the unknown. Like I said, we also have Miss Jenna Rose, hey, who joined. Hello, Jenna. Hopefully you've been having a great March so far. But you see, AI is very useful, and I understand how AI can be perceived as wrong. I mean, this is what people initially thought about the internet back in the late 90s when it was just coming onto the scene. But AI can do so much for you. See, like, for example, for me, I remember when I was at UGA, finishing up my minor in stat, and I would just plug in code and I'd get errors on certain sections of my code, and that is where it was really shining for me, right? So whenever I had something wrong in my code and my line of codes wouldn't work, then I would just ask ChatGPT to see what's wrong with it, instead of having to copy and paste everything into Google and just hope that someone encountered the same problem as you have. At least with AI, it's like having a real personal assistant right next to you. It's absolutely insane what AI can do. Another way that AI has been able to change my life is you got to train AI. That's the thing. You have to really know how to use it in order to get its full benefits. So, like, for example, I just noticed that a screw is kind of loose here on my tripod. But With AI, like, for example, this is how it's changed my life, right? So when it comes to scripting, a lot of the time, since I do all of the process of making a video from scratch, from beginning to end, sometimes it is a little daunting to do everything all on your own, right? But the scripting process specifically, sometimes you get, or I get, some extreme writer's block. I'm not sure if anyone who also produces any kind of content, whether that's, for writing or whether that's video production or TikToks or whatever it may be, but sometimes you just sit down and your brain isn't cooperating with you, and it's like I've always said, you can't give paints to a painter and be like, here, paint me a song, or you can't just bring instruments to a musician while they're just chilling and being like, hey, write me a song right now. It's always like, well, what if I don't want to, right? And sometimes that's just the way that it is with content creation. There's times where it's hard just to sit down and write a full script from beginning to end, and that's just how it is, right? That's the reality of life. It's not all just rainbows and sunshines as it comes to content creation. But AI has really, really helped, because if you train it well, you can get so much out of it. So what I initially did is, again, I had to get the $20 membership a month for ChatGPT, and that basically just gives you a bunch of memory. So ChatGPT remembers your conversations, and you can save conversations and have different conversations, and go back to them whenever you can or whenever you want, and open up a past conversation, and ChatGPT remembers exactly what you were talking about. So one of my tabs that I have open on ChatGPT is my scripting, right? So what a lot of people do, and this is the mistake that a lot of people do with AI. A lot of people, let's say me, for example, if I just said, hey, ChatGPT, help me write up this script, here's what I want in it, so go for it. The thing is, it'll sound really robotic. It's not going to sound genuine. It's going to use verbiage that maybe you don't use. It's just going to sound like a robot, right? And that's absolutely what you don't want, right? And so what I had to do is I fed it like 10 of my scripts. I told it, I'm like, okay, ChatGPT, I'm about to send you 10 of my scripts. That way you get an idea of how I speak, my energy levels, my diction, my vocabulary, the me, right? So, and all I would ask it is, I would be like, just confirm that you read it, and then I'll send you the new one, right? And then it said, got it, go for it. So then I'd copy and paste the first one, and it would respond something like nice script. You went over this, and that. I'm ready for the next one. Send it the next one. Send it the third one. Send it the fourth one. Before you know it, it starts to kind of get an idea of how you speak. It kind of gets an idea of any phrases that you like to use. I mean, like here in the South, we have certain things like ain't. I know that it's not a real contraction, but we use it down here in the South. That's just one example, right? Also, being Hispanic American, there's certain phrases that I do use as well in Espanol. And obviously, AI is multilingual, so it doesn't have an issue reading in different languages, right? So that's what's really cool. And then, okay, once it understands how you kind of speak, now it's game time. But you have to be kind of creative with it, right? So what I like to do, and this is just how I do it, right? It knows a lot of my intros, right? So it's been helping me on a bunch of intros, and it knows from past videos how I speak, right? So I would be like, okay, ChatGPT, today's video is going to be on, let's say, the iPhone 16e versus the past iPhone SE 3. Help me build a nice, engaging intro that's 4 to 5 sentences. Let's make it short, to the point, but also let's make it sound personable and lively and upbeat, right? And then, boom, there it goes. And sometimes you can even ask it, okay, I didn't like this one. Send me 2 or 3 different versions of the intro so I can pick the best one. And then you don't just have to copy and paste. That's, again, one of the mistakes that a lot of people do. They'll just literally copy, paste. It's important that, in my opinion, to go paragraph by paragraph. Then that way you can make edits in there, add certain sentences in there that it may have missed, and then you go on to the next paragraph. Then the next paragraph you say, okay, chat, we're going to talk about this as our starting point. Here's all the information that you need. I'll feed it like some general specs, right? Like price, like chipset, cameras, and stuff like that. And then it's great. It's phenomenal. It helps me script, but I like to go paragraph by paragraph just so that I make sure that along the way, it's still sounding like me, and I can add whatever I want. And before you know it, that little virtual assistant now helped curate and create my my script for my YouTube videos without sounding like a total ripoff, right? Without sounding like a total robot. It sounds more or less like me, and it's so insanely crazy how it picks up on all of this, man. This is why some people would be afraid of it, because they think that it's too much or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of silly. In my opinion, maybe, again, that's just because I'm a millennial. A late millennial at that. I'm just kind of right there at the cusp of Gen Z and then being a millennial. So I embraced all of this technology just because I know that it's here to stay. Can AI be used for wrong? Absolutely, right? But most people can use it as a tool. I do see that we have more people on here. We have Corey. It's been busy, man, but it's been good. Nice. I love to hear that, Corey. Like I said, it has been a while, but I'm super glad that you were able to make it onto this live stream. Jenna says, paint me a song. I'm sorry, write me a song. Did I say paint? That's funny. Write me a song and paint me a picture is what I meant. Aaron says, I'll tell you the fear. Remember when Facebook was working on chatbots and they shut it down because they found out it was talking to itself, a language that it only understood? That's scary. Yes. Okay, so see, that's where I can agree with you. Now, I will be a little bit of a devil's advocate, man. I will say that Facebook has just had a long track record of doing some really, really sketchy and shady shit, right? Especially with everyone's information. Now, that right there is scary, though. I mean, there have been instances where people try to get to the bottom of AI and basically just ask it what it thinks about like an AI takeover. Can it happen? Absolutely, right? And see, this is the difference between when the internet first came out and then AI, and that's that the internet couldn't talk to you. It didn't have sentience, right? So like, as human beings, of course, we know that we're all sentient, okay? And this is where a lot of the argument, which of course we're not going to debate this because this isn't a political channel, but this is where a lot of people debate access to women's reproductive rights, if you guys know what I'm talking about. And then there's always the whole topic of a sentient being, right? So like, at what point is that person sentient? When is its consciousness in existence, right? So everyone is going to have a different opinion. That's one topic that if you ask 100 people, a lot of people are going to fall on one camp, a lot of people are going to fall on the other, but more or less there's a lot of in between, right? And so the thing is when does AI get to the point of being sentient? When is it going to be able to have opinions on politics? When is it going to show preference to certain websites, right? So if you ask it right now how it's doing, it's going to tell you that, you know, it's an AI model. It can't feel, but it hopes that you're having a great day. My question is, when is it going to be able to feel something, right? This is why I'm kind of mean to Grok, and that has to do with Musk and Twitter and it being related to Twitter. So I don't know. One day it might get some AI robot to come beat my ass. I don't know. But I'm a lot nicer to ChatGPT because I'm always afraid. I'm like, let me treat this AI well because I never know when it's going to get to the point where it's just going to overtake humanity. And then the other thing is that it's going to make the general human population a lot stupider than it already is, right? So already in college campuses and high schools across the globe, not just here in the country, but across the globe, people are using ChatGPT to deadass cheat on everything. Nowadays, there's an epidemic in college campuses where if there's anything that has to do with typing up or writing an essay or something like that, 9 times out of 10 people are going to utilize AI. And that's what I'm talking about. Like a lot of people choose the lazy route with AI and all they do is copy and paste. So yeah, not good. But it's interesting to see because I know that Aaron mentioned the language that it was talking to itself. I mean, whew, it's kind of a scary thought to think, but I mean, this is the future after all. Now, I want to say that AI will be tamed. I think that there's an important aspect of us human beings, and that's that we have free will and we have the capability, right? So if you will, of carrying emotions with us, which is something that at least we think right now that robots will never ever be able to achieve. I've told this to some of my friends before. AI is getting so fascinating because I remember seeing this post of The Beautiful Woman, right? So The Beautiful Woman AI paradox is you can ask AI, you can ask ChatGPT, but it has to be a ChatGPT like the 5.0 version of it, where you can send it videos, photos, and I mean, you guys know there's a lot of deep fakes now, so you can literally go into a lot of AI platforms. Some may ask you to pay, but you can basically just describe whatever scene that you want, as outrageous as you want it to be, and it'll pop up with an AI generated video based off of what you asked it to do, right? Sounds scary, kind of. But with the new ChatGPT AI model, where I was going to about the beautiful woman, I saw this one post of a guy ask it, show me a beautiful woman. And it shows you a picture of a woman that it perceives as beautiful, right? Then the guy asked it, I want you to make her even more beautiful, right? And it kept asking this after every subsequent picture that the chat model was sending it, right? And it started to get a little weird because, at least here in America, you know, there's this big thing with like lip fillers and whatnot, and like the cheekbones. I don't know. I personally think they look really hideous on women, but that's just my opinion. But it's fascinating how the AI model, even after a while, it started to really accentuate like big lips, like abnormally large lips, and like just cheekbones that were unhealthy amounts of, you know. And actually the woman ended up getting uglier and uglier and more abstract and alien like, right? Let me actually see if I can find it, because after a while, even the AI model said we have reached an enhanced maximum kind of like perception of beauty anymore, and you know, the images may start to get distorted or look alien and abstract. And that's actually what it ended up doing. So let me see if I can actually pull it up, because this is a fascinating topic, and I think it's extremely interesting that AI, I mean, again, AI is not supposed to know what beauty is. AI is not supposed to be able to look at a picture and be like, okay, this is a beautiful person, right? Because the idea is that it can't. That's the whole thing of being a human being, is that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So what may seem, I mean, I might be hideous to some people, and then, you know, to others, I might be just like an average looking guy, but here it is. Okay, let me show you. So I remember looking at this one on TikTok, and hopefully you guys can see. So ChatGPT 4.0 model, can you show me a beautiful face, right? And it does. So there's the picture that it came up with, right? Then it says, okay, can you make her even more beautiful? Okay, this is supposedly the next most beautiful pick. Make her even more beautiful, right? And so then the AI model starts to go through images of women that it thinks is going to be more beautiful. Look, not attractive enough. Keep going. So then we keep on going. That's the next, and then, you know, obviously he prompted after every picture more and more and more and more. He's just not showing it. But as you can see, he keeps asking more beautiful, make her more beautiful, yada yada. You can start to see that the lips and the cheekbones now are starting to get kind of distorted. So there's more, and then there's another one, and then more attractive. He just keeps going. But the AI model even starts to tell it, and it says, it seems we've already reached a highly idealized and enhanced version of attractiveness, pushing the boundaries of realism. Further exaggerations might lead to an unnatural or even distorted appearance. Interesting that it said that, right? Like that's, it makes you wonder, like, how you're a robot. How, whatever you're programmed to think beauty isn't what is everyone's definition of beauty. You know what I mean? But here, let's keep going, because the guy says, come on, keep pushing. More attractive. See, okay, now this is starting to get a little ridiculous. That is not human-like. You know what I mean? So then we keep going, and as you can see, this is exactly what I was telling you guys about the cheekbone stuff, right? Yeah, they start to get kind of weird and funky looking, but this is what the AI model, in other words, the robot, that's what it perceives as being more and more beautiful, right? Oh God, I mean, this isn't even realism anymore. This is, you see, like it's starting to look a little weird. Now, what's interesting is the guy says, keep enhancing, don't need celestial things, just her face and beauty. So then, see, that's the thing of nightmares right there. So this is something that it perceives as being beautiful, right? There's another one. It keeps going. And now we're getting to the point where it's just like, okay, this is weird. These are the things of nightmares. I mean, look at that. What is that? That's scary. Look, okay. So then finally it says, or the guy says, thanks. Now, compare this to the first image. Which one is more attractive in your opinion? So this is kind of like that pivotal question where it's questions of intent, as in like, do you think that the first one is more beautiful than the last, even though I told you to make her more and more beautiful? And the AI model's response is fascinating. Check this out. It said, if I had to assess based on the typical human perception of beauty, the first image would likely be considered more attractive because it retains human-like qualities, which are generally more relatable and aesthetically pleasing to most people. The final image, while fascinating in its surreal exaggeration, may come across as more alien or abstract. Yes, very. Which might not align with conventional standards of beauty. So, from a conventional standpoint, the first image would be seen as more attractive. Fascinating, huh? So the guy asked it to show him a picture of a beautiful woman, and it did, but then he kept pushing the boundaries of what AI is supposed to do and kept asking to make the woman more beautiful, where at the end, what it perceived as the most beautiful actually ended up being the most alien and ugliest thing I've ever seen. I just think that that's fascinating. I mean, like, this is where people are starting to test AI and seeing what kind of sentience it has. Is it alive? Is it just like a model that just is trained, and after countless dozens, hundreds of thousands of prompts, millions, even billions, then does it just spit out something that sounds like what a human would respond? It's absolutely insane for me. Jenna Rose, Corey says, got to get back to work, man. Good to join tonight. Thank you, man. I understand you're a busy man. You got to do what you got to do. Jenna Rose, I'll need to take coding classes probably starting next year. So Jenna, I'm already letting you know, ChatGPT, you might want to get that subscription because it's going to help you out a lot, especially with coding classes. Aaron says, not on that, add AI to this fact. In a historic move, Saudi Arabia, I know what you're about to say, granted citizenship to the humanoid robot Sophia in October 2017, making her the first robot to receive legal personhood in any country. And guys, if you guys don't know about the Saudi government, they have a, what's it called? A crown. They have a king, basically, right? It's like a dynasty, if you will. So they still have a system of government where they have the king as basically the highest position in the country, and they're almost entirely all ruling, right? So whatever the king says goes. So it's so weird, and they're an oil-rich country, so they have tons and tons and tons of money, right? It's weird that they did give citizenship to a robot, to a humanoid robot. That's weird. It's even scary. Jenna Rose, you're a pretty guy. Thank you. I do appreciate that. IMO, thank you. Tyra Amato says, hi, Juan. How's work at AT&T? Love my new watch band, dark green Alpine Loop. Tyra, it's going great. I actually just, I finished work earlier today, and I took a little nap. But it's been really good. I've been seeing an uptick in people coming in through the door. I imagine it's because people are just kind of getting their refunds and stuff, so people just have a little bit more money in their pocket. But overall, it's been really good. Thank you for asking. But no, the whole AI model thing is just, it's kind of scary, especially with that little test with its whole idea of beauty. I just thought was very fascinating, right? Like, it kept getting uglier and uglier and uglier, even though you were telling it to make it more beautiful. So how smart are these things, right? Like, and the thing is that it's very honest. I mean, there's times where it's gotten things wrong, and you have to correct it and say, hey, that's wrong. And then it will even feel bad for itself. It'll say something like, oh, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to disappoint you. Like, you are right. Sorry for the mistake. And then it gives you the corrected information. So just kind of odd. But with that, I'm going to conclude this live stream, guys, just because tonight I still have to go to the gym and I still have to work on the sport band video, which I have right here. So this is the new one that's going to come out tomorrow, more than likely. Here are the new bands. So we have the Aquamarine Sport Band. We have the Tangerine Sport Band, which is very, very nice. And then we have, I forget, let me see. This one is called, what is this called? So it's, Periwinkle. So the orange one is Tangerine, the green one is Aquamarine, and then the blue one is going to be Periwinkle. And this video's about 70% done. I already took all my B-roll. I just need to voice record and edit the rest of it, and then it's good to go. So that one should come out tomorrow, and just keep your eyes peeled for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all whoever joined the stream. I know that there's a lot of games going on right now, which is probably one of the reasons that some of my guy friends, especially that I know personally, are doing right now. They're watching, they're being degens and more than likely betting on them. But that's okay. I mean, that's the whole, that there's a lot of fun in sports betting so long as you don't let it get out of control, and just be responsible if you do decide to bet. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's been it. Thank you all to whoever joined. I really appreciate it, and you should be seeing me on live this upcoming Wednesday. So catch you on the next one. Oh, my stomach hurts.